Once upon a time, in the heart of a small community in Inobi, hidden amidst the sprawling savannah, there lived a gifted young girl, Akunna. Akunna was mysterious to the villagers. She was often seen talking to herself in the bush, holding leaves and playing around with them. Even when she went up to the stream to fetch water, the villagers often see her dancing in the stream. This made the villagers wary of Akunna, and they began to despise her and gossip about her strange behavior. They viewed her with so much suspicion and mistrust because they thought she was an Ogbanje, an evil child who wanted to wreak havoc in the community, as they were being taught by the Oyibo man during Block Rosary. They began to disturb Akunna's parents to take Akunna to Mr. Obi's house, where the Oyibo man would deliver her from the spirits of Ogbanje. But Akunna's father, Maazi Ekekwono, ignored them and instead went to the neighboring community to visit Dibia Ogwejiofo, who is a renowned Dibia Afa. He went to inquire if his daughter was truly an Ogbanje and if he can remove the Ogbanje spirit from Akunna. When Maazi Ekekwono got to Aba, Ogwejiofo told him that he shouldn't worry, that his father told him that Ogbanje spirits differ and Akunna's Ogbanje spirits are kind, and they have blessed Akunna with the gifts of herbs and vision. Ogwejiofo told Maazi Ekekwono to use kola nut and thank his ancestors for giving him a child like Akunna. He also encouraged him to use kola nut and dry gin to welcome Akunna's Ogbanje spirits. As Akunna got older, her powers intensified, and soon she began to dream, and those dreams became premonitions. When she shared her dreams with people concerned, they would reject her and call her Ajonwa. Akunna, often saddened by their utterances, began to stay on her own away from her peers. And even though she is often alone, her connection with her Ogbanje spirits made her life a little easier because they would often come and keep her company. But this alienated her more from the people. Every time Akunna decides to help the villagers who are sick with herbs, they would reject her and throw the herbs mixtures away. Mothers even warn their daughters to stay away from Akunna so that she will not initiate them into her Ogbanje cult. This went on in the village until one scorching afternoon. The village was buzzed with fears and whispers. A rumor began to sweep through the community like wildfire, leaving everyone in its wake terrified. A mysterious sickness has been infecting the villagers, they say, and they said it is the malevolent work of angered spirits by the villagers because of the neglect of their ancestors. This sickness left its victims weak and feverish, and no village herbalist can cure them with all the herbs they have. Panic even spread faster than the disease, and despair hung heavily over the villagers. As this situation grew increasingly, the villagers began to contemplate on moving out of their homes until this mysterious sickness dies off and they can return. During the meeting of Nzenozo Council, Mazi Ekekwono told his kinsmen that he can explore other options like visiting the Great Dibia in Aba, but the elders refused. After 2 market days, the mysterious illness had taken over the community and people were dying more frequently. The elders called for a second meeting and begged Mazi Ekekwono to take them to Aba to meet the great Dibia Oguejiofo. As they got to Dibia Oguejiofor's place, he sent his Nwadibia to inform them that the solution to their problems can only be solved by Akonna, the Ogbanje child. He also told them that they should take a female goat and a basket of fruits to her and apologized for the way the community treated her. As they returned to Nobi, the elders hastily went to the market and got the items Oguejiofo instructed them to buy. They also sent the town crier to summon the entire community to Mazi Ekekwono's compound. After they had all assembled, the elders called Akonna and told her what Dibia Oguejiofo said. Immediately, the entire community began to apologize to Akonna for the way they treated her and the assumption they had that she was evil. Her father, Mazi Ekekwono, called Akonna and begged on behalf of the community. He also asked her to please consult her Otu Ogbanje so that they can be able to help her save the community. Akonna reluctantly agreed, so she retreated into the sacred grove of the ancestors under a giant apple tree, where her connection to her Otu was strongest. There, beneath the shade of an ancient apple tree, she entered a deep trance. In this altered state, her consciousness ascended into the realm of her Otu. Akuna saw her ancestors well dressed in beautiful ishiago, and the women were well adorned with jigida and uli. They revealed that the mythical sickness was indeed the work of a malevolent spirit who has been angered by the villagers' neglect of their customs and tradition. They told her that if the community would resume their yearly festival of Ewa Fiolo, which was a festival used to acknowledge the ancestors and their contribution to the living, the angry spirits of the ancestors would be appeased, and for the sickness, a perfect mixture of grounded roots from the apple tree and the anonuebe tree would restore their health. When Akuna opened her eyes, she ran to the village square and shared the wisdom of her ancestors with the villagers. She explained the intricate rituals and offerings required to appease the malevolent spirits and heal the afflicted. At first, the villagers were skeptical, unsure of this strange custom and unusual ingredients. But as the sickness continued to claim lives, they had no other option but to follow Akonna's guidance. Under Akonna's leadership, the villagers gathered the necessary herbs and offered heartfelt affirmations Ofo and performed the rituals and the festival of Egbafiolo with precise dedication. The next day, signs of improvement began to appear. Those who had fallen ill began to recover, and the despair that had crippled the villagers began to loosen its hold. Words of Akunna's extraordinary ability and her role in saving the village began to spread, and the villagers came to appreciate her as a true gift from their ancestors. She was embraced by the community with open hearts, and her gifts were finally res- rec- and her gifts were finally recognized and respected. Akunna continued to use her gifts and serve as a bridge between the living and the spirits, ensuring the well-being of her community for generations to come. As the days passed, the mythical sickness that had threatened to ravage the village was defeated, and the unity, wisdom, and resilience of the community was celebrated. Akunna, the once misunderstood Ogbanje outcast, found her place amongst her people, and the mystery of her extraordinary talent became a cherished part of the village history. Moral lesson: ancestral veneration and acknowledgement tie us to our roots as Africans. It increases our self-love and encourages us to act in ways that respect and represent our ancestry.